Good morning, everyone. This is the Environmental and Community Services Committee on the 11th of August 2026 at 10:30. I'd just like to remind everyone that this is audio recorded and that those in attendance should refrain from making any defamatory comments and statements, which I'm sure we can all manage. Do we have any applications for attending meeting via video link?
We have an application from Councillor Stolz, who is on the screen at present.
Could we have a mover? So thank you, Councillor McGill, seconded by Councillor Clout. All in favour? Against? The ayes.
Good morning.
Morning, Councillor Stolz. Lovely to see you there in San Fran. Do we have disclosures of interest?
None received, Madam Chair.
Public participation?
There's none registered for today.
Site inspections?
No site inspections.
We're whizzing through this today. Okay, so I'll slow down. So it was worth a while coming. So we've got ECSC.08.1. So this is a planning proposal for PP 2025-584, additional permitted use at number 158 Sater Road, Scone, the master plan. Mr. Pringle, would you like to talk us through this?
Thank you, Madam Chair. So this application relates to a planning proposal, as you say, 2025-584, to amend the Upper Hunter LEP to enable an additional permitted use at 158 Sater Road, Scone. I think we've got not sure if we've got a plan up on the screen there. You would recall that this planning proposal was considered by the committee at the April meeting, and it was resolved to recommend that Council endorse the planning proposal to amend the LEP to create an additional permitted use for an aircraft hangar, training facility and airport related and short-term workers accommodation at 158 Sater Road, and to require the proponent to submit a comprehensive master plan for the site, which shows the development footprints for the hangar building, the training facility building, short-term accommodation, associated vehicle access, parking and circulation access, and the existing and proposed use of any existing buildings, service areas and integration with the adjoining land. The applicant has that recommendation was endorsed by Council at the April meeting. The applicant has subsequently submitted the master plan that was requested, which is shown on page 6 of the business papers. The master plan has been reviewed by staff and is considered acceptable, and therefore we're asking the committee to endorse that master plan to enable the planning proposal to now be submitted to the Department of Planning for a gateway determination.
Thank you. Shall we move and second and then open for discussion? So move Councillor Clout, seconded Councillor McGill. Anyone like to add any comments or ask any questions?
Yeah, just two questions. The original house, are they splitting that off to a separate lot by the looks of it?
No, I believe that's going to come. That's where the units are currently on that proposed master plan.
What the map's calling Lot 1, that green roof? Oh, I see, yeah. It gets gobbled up. Yeah. And the other one too, I note that a number of those blocks have got access back to the runway. Was that a covenant that they had to take up? Because it looks like only one or two of them have bothered ever taking up the hangar space in their backyard.
There was an agreement with a number of the properties at that eastern end of the runway that they could have access. There's some controls over that. They must be gated, must be controlled, and the like. I don't think that's been restricted to properties. If they've generally asked for access, we've generally been open to providing that, I think.
Anything else?
Just through you, Madam Chair, Mr. James, that was a one-off offer, wasn't it, for all those landholders? Sign up now or pay when it comes to it.
It was certainly done before my time, so I don't know the exact detail, Mr. Mayor, but I think you might be right. Having said that, if there was a property that didn't have it and wished to make an access, we could consider it.
Yep. The other one, Matt, it's the greenery around that whole block's pretty good, isn't it? The trees or whatever they're doing.
Yeah, so through you, Madam Chair, there's a bit of vegetation screening along that boundary, so that should reduce any visual impacts on adjoining land once the land is developed. Yeah.
Lovely shrubbery. Okay, so shall we vote? All in favour? The ayes have it, all four. Thank you. So we have ECSC.08.2. This is a planning proposal to reclassify land from community to operational. Mr. Pringle, did you just want to go? We've read, obviously this is considered read, but there might be some questions about this.
Yep. Thank you, Madam Chair. So this application is to reclassify land near the Scone Golf Club. The Council, at its meeting 15th of December 2025, resolved to lodge a planning proposal to reclassify this land to operational land, so it's currently community land, and delegate authority to the GM to sign all associated documents. So the land, I think we've got it up on the screen there, you can see it's to the south of the golf club. It adjoins White Park. It's owned by Upper Shire Council. It's currently zoned RE1 Public Recreation. So a detailed plan proposal has been submitted, which addresses all the relevant considerations under the Act, including ministerial directions and state planning policies and so forth. The intention of the planning proposal is to reclassify the land, as I've said, which would be by amending Schedule 4 of the LEP. There is no proposed changes to the zoning itself or permissible land uses or any development standards. The plan proposal demonstrates strategic merit because it does improve Council's ability to manage our land assets efficiently. There is no change to the planning framework that governs the land. The proposal is administrative in nature. It does not increase the development potential, and it basically supports effective asset management and responsible use of council resources. I understand that it is intended to allow council to lease this land in the future. The General Manager may want to explain that or provide more information in relation to that.
Yeah, thanks, Matt. Through you, Madam Chair. So technically I'm the applicant, so Mr. Pringle's wearing the planning hat, I'm wearing the applicant's hat today. The land that's in the diagram on page 8, which is on the screen at the moment, is the small portion of what is the larger White Park space. Council will remember back in December when you considered it, we actually did a subdivision. So that land has now been excised off as a separate lot from White Park. And it's never been part of the White Park operational space. It was just part of the original community land that was part of the White Park space. So what we're doing is formalising the use. So the White Park space to the east of this site will continue to be used for the White Park use. And this space, which has always been partially occupied by some of the practice greens there at the golf club, a bit of car park, it is a very unusual shape, as you'll see, will be, in time, will be formalised as a lease back to the club. We could have leased some of it as community land, but to do a lease as community land needs to go through a fairly rigorous process and can only be for short durations of time. So by making this operational, it just gives us the ability to have a longer lease and give the club a bit more certainty about tenure. So nothing will change as far as the actual day-to-day usage of the land, but it will allow us to formally have those lease arrangements in place.
Thank you. Okay, so let's move and second, and then we can open for questions. So move, Councillor Clout, seconded, Councillor McGill. Questions?
Yeah, excuse my ignorance. The clubhouse is obviously privately owned. The course is owned by council. Is that the case?
Correct. So the course is a separate lot again in council's ownership. The clubhouse is on its own parcel of land and owned by the club. There's also a mixture of road reserve thrown in here just to add another level of complexity as well. So there's some car park on road reserve, some car park on private land.
And the other question too, it includes over the water course with the bridge and everything. Yeah, I just converting it to operational land. We're not proposing to fill in the water course, I'm presuming. Otherwise that should be excised off and kept as community land. But I'm just wondering why we actually do have title over waterway.
Yeah, typically you wouldn't have title over a permanent waterway. It's just the way that the waterway and the planning is, sometimes with these very old lots, you know, they just drew the lots regardless of where the waterways were. At this time, you're right, there's no intention to do any works, and we would need permission to do works within a waterway anyway. So, you know, fisheries would not allow us just to start filling that in or doing works without quite a detailed application.
And just one other, in terms of the process, this obviously goes out for public comment. At what point does that happen? Early, mid-process? Where does that happen?
Generally, is once this has gone through this, well, I probably should let Matt speak to the process because that's a planning question.
Yeah. So
Yes,
through you, Madam
okay.
Chair, so the next step is to submit this to the Department of Planning for a gateway determination. That determination will set out what the requirements are in terms of public consultation and so forth. Because it is a reclassification of land, it will require a public meeting as well. So that will be part of the consultation process.
So from my understanding, this is opening up the opportunity to have the conversations and to actually then make their decision. Counts, Mayor Collison.
Committee finish? Yeah, Madam Chair, the little finger mat on the right, which is where the sporties have got their golf carts. Yeah, that shed there. They did show an interest about building an extension onto that shed. Could we sell that little finger off to them, or you couldn't?
I'll take the question. It's probably property related. I have no intention of trying to sell little small parcels of land like that. That would require another subdivision to cut that off anyway. The intent is once we've got this as operational land, we can enter into a lease, and that lease will allow for the construction of a structure over it. And hence why we want a longer term lease, so that they can have some security if they do put any fixed assets on it.
Yep, no, sorry, Madam Chair, no, good idea. So we could put a 99-year lease if they built a new shed on it.
I'd have to check the Local Government Act in regard to the maximum length of time. I think you can certainly go at least beyond 20 years. I'm not sure about 99. I'd have to check.
Okay, so we're ready to vote. Those in favour? We have all four of us. Yep. So it's carried. Unless you have any surprise agenda items? No? No. Okay, so that will then finish us off at 10:43. Everyone have a great day.
Thank you.
Thank you.